Before we begin, I need you to pause for a second and think. Which country are you watching this from? Right now, as I speak, what time is it in your country? Maybe it's late at night, maybe it's early morning, maybe the world is busy around you, but here you are, watching this, and your heart has brought you here for a reason. Have you felt it? That hollow feeling inside, the one that makes everything feel gray, flat, meaningless. The people, the dreams, the achievements that used to excite you, now they barely touch you. You might even be thinking, am I broken? Is something wrong with me? I want you to listen carefully. What you are feeling is not weakness, it is not a mistake, it is a signal, a call from your soul. Something is dying inside you, not to punish you, but to make space for something greater. Something that will awaken your heart in ways you have never experienced. And here's the truth, most people ignore it. Most people scroll past it, distract themselves from it, and keep living life half asleep. But you are here, watching, feeling, paying attention. That alone tells me your heart is ready for change. By the end of this talk, your heart will either wake up or it will stay asleep, unaware of what it has been missing. So stay with me, don't scroll away, don't tell yourself you'll watch later. Because every second you spend here could change everything about how you feel, think, and live. Now, take a moment and really notice, what time is it where you are? What is your heart whispering to you right now? That whisper is the reason you are here. And if you pay attention, by the end of this video, you will finally understand why nothing excites you anymore and why that emptiness was actually a gift. Allah removes excitement when the heart is becoming too attached. Sometimes we chase people, goals, or achievements with all our energy. We put them in the center of our lives, thinking that they will give us happiness, that they will make us feel alive, that they will make everything complete. And for a while, they do. For a while, the heart feels full and the mind feels satisfied. But slowly, without warning, the excitement fades. Things that once made your heart race no longer matter. The achievements feel empty, the relationships feel heavy, the plans feel meaningless. You start asking yourself, why do I feel this way? Why am I not happy anymore? The truth is, Allah is protecting you. He is gently removing the sweetness from what you were starting to rely on too much. It is not because those things are bad, and it is not because you failed. It is because your heart was beginning to depend on them for life, and Allah knows that nothing in this world is permanent. People leave, situations change, plans collapse, and achievements fade. If your happiness was tied to something that can vanish, your heart would break over and over again. Allah prevents that before it happens. When joy fades from someone you love, from a goal you worked hard for, or from a dream that once inspired you, it is not punishment, and it is not a sign of weakness, it is mercy. It is a message that the heart was giving too much power to what is temporary. Allah is teaching you that true happiness cannot come from what is fleeting. He wants you to learn to place your trust, your love, and your hope in what lasts forever, in what nothing can take away. This feeling may be confusing. You may feel sadness, emptiness, or even fear that life has lost color, but it is actually a sacred moment. It is a chance for your heart to step back, to breathe, and to realize that the things you thought were life-giving were never meant to be permanent. In this emptiness, there is an opportunity for clarity. You can now begin to recognize that your soul needs something deeper than temporary pleasures. You can start understanding that true joy comes from connection with Allah, from purpose, from peace that is not shaken by the changing world. The fading excitement is not a loss, it is a gift. It is a quiet way of showing you that your heart is precious and it deserves to be guarded. You are being gently reminded that only what is eternal deserves your deepest love, your strongest attachment, and your lasting attention. And when your heart finally realizes this, it will begin to experience a joy that is steady, safe, and unshakable, a joy that no circumstance can take away. Emotional numbness is a divine wake-up call, not a breakdown. There are moments when life feels heavy, and yet nothing seems wrong on the outside. You wake up and notice that nothing excites you. You look at your friends, your work, your achievements, even your hobbies, and nothing moves you the way it used to. You might begin to fear that something is broken inside you, that you are losing yourself, that life has lost its meaning. But this feeling, as heavy as it is not a sign that you are failing. It is not a breakdown. It is actually a call, a wake-up call from Allah to your soul. Emotional numbness is often misunderstood. People see it as weakness, as a flaw, as a problem to fix. But the heart, in its wisdom, has ways of protecting itself. When it has been overwhelmed, overstimulated, or distracted for too long, it begins to withdraw. It becomes quiet, not to punish you, but to help you listen. Sometimes the heart is so full of noise, so full of constant movement and effort, that it cannot hear what is most important. When excitement disappears, when laughter feels distant, when even small joys seem hollow, it is a sign that your soul needs attention, not that it has failed. This numbness is a sacred pause. Allah allows it so that you stop running in every direction without purpose. It is a chance for the heart to reflect on what it has been holding on to and what it has been chasing. It is an invitation to ask yourself quietly, what am I living for? What truly matters? Where does my happiness come from? The numbness forces the heart to look inward, to feel the emptiness, and to recognize the truth that lasting joy cannot be found in temporary things. It is natural to resist this feeling. You might try to fill it with activity, distractions, or the excitement of others. You might search for people, places, or accomplishments to make you feel alive again. But none of that works, because the heart is asking for something deeper. It is asking for presence, clarity, and connection with its creator. In this silence, in this emptiness, there is a hidden gift. The numbness itself is a teacher, showing you that your soul cannot be satisfied by the world alone. You are not broken, you are awakening. You are being reminded that life is more than what you see, more than what you touch, more than what brings temporary pleasure. This is the season where the heart learns patience, reflection, and dependence on Allah rather than the passing world. When you sit with this feeling, instead of running from it, you begin to understand yourself, your desires, and your attachments in a way that you could not before. Eventually, when you allow this emptiness to be a teacher, it will lead you to a deeper joy, a calmer satisfaction, and a steadier connection with Allah. What felt like nothingness becomes the foundation for a heart that no longer relies on fleeting thrills. A heart that is finally ready to feel life in its truest form. The silence, the numbness, the heaviness, all of it is not your enemy. It is a guide, a messenger, a quiet way of showing you that your soul is waking up and that what you need most cannot be taken away by the world because it comes from Allah alone. The soul gets exhausted long before the body does. You may think that exhaustion only comes from physical effort, from long hours, from carrying heavy loads, but the truth is, the soul can tire long before the body does. You can sleep, rest, eat well, take a break from work, and still feel drained, empty, and disconnected. That fatigue is not of the body, it is of the soul. And the soul carries burdens that the body cannot see. It carries unspoken worries, unmet desires, unresolved emotions, and the weight of a heart that has been giving more than it receives. The soul gets tired when it has been running without purpose, when it has been giving love where it was not returned, when it has been striving in directions that do not nourish it. You may feel like everything is fine on the outside, and yet inside there is a quiet heaviness that never goes away. You may notice that life has lost its color, that you no longer feel excitement in the things that once mattered, that even the simplest joys feel distant. This is not weakness. This is the soul calling for care, for attention, for pause. When your soul is exhausted, it cannot be healed by distractions. You cannot scroll it away, shop it away, or fill it with entertainment. It needs space, reflection, and reconnection with what is real and lasting. The world asks you to move quickly, to achieve, to perform, to compete, but the soul does not thrive on performance. It thrives on presence, meaning, and alignment with its creator. This is why, when your heart feels tired, even though your body rests, it is a sign that your priorities are out of balance. The soul is signaling that it has been neglected while the body was being cared for. This exhaustion often comes from doing too much without spiritual nourishment. You may have spent years chasing achievements, pleasing people, and striving for recognition, and in the process, the soul has been left behind. It is not that life is meaningless, it is that the heart has been starved of purpose. The numbness and emptiness that follow are not punishments, they are warnings. They are moments where Allah allows the soul to speak, to say, I need more than this. I was created for more than this. When you recognize this truth, it changes the way you live. You begin to see that your life cannot be measured by how busy you are or how much you have accomplished. You start to notice the importance of quiet moments, of reflection, of connection with Allah. You learn that the soul must be fed with intention, with sincerity, with presence. And as the soul receives attention, the heaviness begins to lift, slowly but surely. Joy is not returned all at once, but peace begins to grow from within. The exhaustion of the soul is also a reminder that life is not just about doing, it is about being. It is about understanding yourself, listening to your heart, and nurturing what cannot be replaced or taken away. When you allow yourself to honor the needs of your soul, even in small ways, you begin to reclaim excitement, clarity, and a sense of purpose. This is why the soul's fatigue is sacred. It is not a weakness, it is a call to wake up, to return to the essence of your being, and to reconnect with what truly sustains you. The soul's exhaustion is a quiet invitation to slow down, to let go of what is temporary, to stop overextending for what does not satisfy, and to invest in what truly matters. It is a way of preparing the heart for deeper peace, for real joy, and for a connection that the world cannot give or take away. When the body rests but the soul feels heavy, it is an opportunity, a sacred moment to listen, reflect, and return to life with meaning, with awareness, and with a heart ready to embrace what is real, eternal, and fulfilling. Overexposure to the world dulls the heart. The heart is delicate, and it has limits that the mind often does not understand. When life becomes loud, fast, and overstimulated, the heart slowly begins to lose its ability to feel deeply. Endless scrolling, constant comparison, non-stop noise, and the pressure to keep up with everyone around you gradually dull the soul. At first, it may seem small, almost invisible, but over time, the heart begins to feel heavy, numb, and disconnected. Things that once brought excitement, joy, or peace start to lose their color. You may find yourself standing in the middle of life, moving, breathing, and working, yet inside it feels empty. Overexposure to the world tricks the heart into thinking that happiness comes from constant activity, constant achievement, constant attention. You may chase the next notification, the next experience, the next person, thinking that it will bring excitement, and for a moment it does. But these moments fade faster than you can hold them. The heart begins to forget how to experience joy in a deep and lasting way. Even beauty, love, or simple moments of peace begin to feel flat because the soul is overstimulated, overwhelmed, and searching for meaning outside itself. The problem is not the world itself. The world is not inherently wrong or dangerous, but the heart needs balance, quiet, and space to breathe. It needs time to notice what is truly valuable. Constant exposure to sights, sounds, messages, and expectations keeps the heart on high alert, and eventually it simply stops responding. It is not that the heart has hardened, it is that it has been stretched too thin. The excitement fades, not because life has lost meaning, but because the soul has been distracted for too long, mistaking temporary pleasures for lasting fulfillment. This is why numbness and emptiness often follow a life filled with noise and overstimulation. The heart has been searching for joy in the wrong places, and when it cannot find it, it withdraws. This withdrawal is not failure, it is the heart protecting itself, retreating from what cannot satisfy it. In this silence, in this emptiness, there is an opportunity. The soul begins to notice what truly matters. The heart begins to long for simplicity, presence, and connection that cannot be found in the fleeting world. You may not feel it at first, and it may feel uncomfortable, even painful. You may feel frustrated with yourself, wondering why nothing excites you anymore. But this is exactly the moment where reflection becomes possible. This is when you can begin to see that the excitement you were chasing was borrowed, temporary, and shallow. True joy does not come from noise, constant input, or the attention of others. It comes from depth, stillness, and alignment with your Creator. Overexposure to the world dulls the heart, but it also prepares it for awakening. It teaches you the value of simplicity. It shows you that life is not about constant stimulation, but about connection, awareness, and presence. When you start to reduce the noise, even in small ways, your heart slowly begins to feel again. Colors return, simple joys reappear, and life begins to feel meaningful, not because it is exciting, but because it is real. This is a sacred process. The heart withdrawing from the overstimulated world is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that it is ready to feel deeply again. It is ready to reconnect with what lasts, with what matters, and with the one who never leaves. When the heart is dulled by the world, the emptiness is actually a gift, a chance to return to life with clarity, to notice what truly satisfies, and to embrace a peace that cannot be shaken by anything external. When worship loses presence, life loses flavor. Worship is meant to be the oxygen of the soul, the moment when the heart breathes and reconnects with what is eternal. But when it becomes rushed, routine, or mechanical, it loses its ability to bring life. You may find yourself performing prayers, reciting words, or repeating phrases out of habit, yet the heart feels distant, detached, and heavy. The mind may be present, the body may move, but the soul is somewhere else entirely. And when this happens, life begins to feel bland, empty, and unexciting. The joy you once felt in simple acts, in quiet reflection, or even in routine moments disappears. This is not failure, and it is not a sign of laziness. It is a signal. Your heart is speaking, asking to be noticed, asking to feel alive again. Worship is not just about doing, it is about being. When the heart is not present, even the most perfect outward actions cannot fill the soul. And when the soul is not filled, everything else begins to feel meaningless. Achievements lose their thrill, relationships lose their warmth, and even laughter feels hollow. The sweetness of life fades because the well from which it flows has been left untended. Many people try to fill this emptiness with more activity, more work, more entertainment, or more company, but nothing replaces the connection that worship provides when it is sincere, mindful, and present. The heart longs for closeness, not for routine. It longs to be seen, acknowledged, and held in the presence of something greater than itself. Without that, life feels heavy, even when everything seems fine on the outside. The absence of presence in worship is felt in the small, quiet ways. Your energy feels low, your attention wanders, and even moments of peace feel just out of reach. This emptiness, though uncomfortable, is also an invitation. It is an opportunity to return to the essence of your practice, to breathe life into the rituals you may have been performing mechanically. It is a chance to speak to Allah with honesty, to pour out your heart without concern for perfection, and to reconnect with the purpose that originally drew you to worship. Even a few moments of awareness, sincerity, and quiet intention can begin to restore color to the heart, and with that, to life itself. When worship loses presence, the world loses flavor, because the heart loses its anchor. Everything external starts to feel temporary, hollow, and insufficient. But this is not a dead end, it is a beginning. The heart is being prepared to experience a deeper level of connection, a steadier, calmer joy that is not dependent on circumstances. The feeling of emptiness is a mirror, showing you where attention has wandered and where love has been misdirected. Once the heart reconnects with true, present, mindful worship, life begins to regain its richness. Simple moments feel deeper, relationships feel warmer, and even the smallest joys begin to resonate. The world does not change, but the way the heart experiences it does. Worship becomes the bridge between the heart and the eternal, and from that bridge, life regains its flavor. The numbness, the fatigue, the emptiness, all of it was a gentle guide, teaching the heart to seek depth instead of surface, presence instead of routine, and connection instead of performance. Allah empties the heart before He refills it. Sometimes, life feels like it is taking everything away at once. Things you loved lose their sweetness. Dreams that once inspired you suddenly feel distant. Relationships that gave meaning seem heavy. Achievements that once made your heart proud no longer excite you. You may feel empty, confused, or even fearful that life has lost its color. But this emptiness is not a punishment, and it is not the end. It is a sacred space that Allah creates in the heart, a space where transformation begins. Allah often empties the heart before He fills it. He removes what is temporary, superficial, or distracting so that the soul has room to receive what is eternal. This process can feel uncomfortable because it asks you to let go of attachments that once seemed essential. The heart may resist asking, "Why now? Why me? Why does it feel so empty?" But the emptiness is actually mercy in disguise. It is a gentle way of telling the heart, do not cling to what cannot stay. Prepare yourself for something that will last forever. This empty space allows the heart to see clearly what it has been holding on to. When everything that was familiar loses its appeal, you begin to notice what truly matters. The things that seemed urgent, important, or life-giving suddenly feel hollow, and in that hollow space, the heart becomes aware of its longing for purpose, connection, and peace. Allah empties the heart so that it can learn dependence on Him rather than on people, possessions, or circumstances. He clears away the clutter of the soul so that what remains is pure, ready, and capable of receiving true joy. During this season, it is natural to feel discomfort, sadness, and even fear. The heart may feel unsteady, and the mind may struggle to find meaning. You may find yourself questioning life, questioning your path, and questioning yourself. But this is the very moment where growth begins. The heart is being trained to let go of false sources of fulfillment so it can hold on to what truly sustains. What once seemed like loss is actually preparation. What once felt like emptiness is actually a sacred space for divine nourishment. When Allah empties the heart, He also teaches patience and trust. You learn that happiness cannot be forced, that satisfaction cannot be manufactured, and that life cannot always follow your plans. Instead, the soul begins to understand the value of letting go, of releasing attachments, and of waiting for what is meant for you. The process may feel slow, but every moment is purposeful. The emptiness is not meaningless. It is fertile ground for clarity, peace, and wisdom. Eventually, when the heart is ready, Allah fills it with a depth of joy, connection, and tranquility that nothing in the world can take away. The excitement that once came from fleeting things is replaced by a calm that flows from within. The soul experiences fulfillment that does not depend on circumstances, people, or achievements. It is a joy rooted in understanding, presence, and closeness to Allah. This season of emptiness teaches you that true life is not about what you accumulate, achieve, or experience. It is about what you carry in your heart, what nourishes your soul, and what anchors you in the midst of uncertainty. The things that were removed were never meant to stay. They were only filling a space that now belongs to what is eternal. The heart, once emptied, becomes capable of receiving a richness that the world cannot give, cannot take away, and cannot imitate. So when you feel life has become hollow, remember that it is not emptiness that defines you, it is preparation. Allah is quietly creating room in your heart, clearing what is temporary and making space for what will last. The emptiness is not absence, it is a promise that something more meaningful, more fulfilling, and more eternal is on its way, waiting for a heart that is ready to receive it. True fulfillment is calm, not thrilling. Many of us confuse excitement with happiness. We believe that life should constantly thrill us, that joy should always be loud and obvious, and that fulfillment is measured by the intensity of our feelings. But the truth is, the most meaningful happiness is quiet, steady, and deep. True fulfillment does not come from chasing highs or seeking constant stimulation. It comes from a heart that has found its anchor, a soul that has found its center, and a life that has found purpose. When you are young, or when your heart is distracted, excitement feels like life itself. You feel alive only when your emotions rise and fall rapidly, only when every day brings drama or intensity. And for a while that can feel satisfying, but over time your soul begins to crave stability, presence, and depth. The highs no longer excite you the way they used to. The thrills fade quickly, and you begin to notice that what lasts is not the intensity of a moment, but the steadiness of the heart. Fulfillment is calm, not thrilling. It is not a surge of emotion, but a quiet confidence that your life is aligned with what truly matters. It is knowing that your happiness is not controlled by circumstances, people, or fleeting achievements. It is feeling peace even when the world is chaotic, and contentment even when life is uncertain. This calm may feel unfamiliar at first, because we have been taught to equate joy with excitement and satisfaction with stimulation. But the deeper you go, the more you understand that calm is a treasure that cannot be shaken. A calm heart is strong. It does not panic when plans fall apart or when the world becomes unpredictable. It does not cling desperately to relationships, money, or recognition. Instead, it rests in the knowledge that life has a rhythm, that Allah is in control, and that nothing truly lasting can be taken from it. When your heart is calm, even the simplest moments, watching the sunrise, sharing a smile, being alone with your thoughts, become deeply satisfying. The world has color again, not because it has changed, but because your perception has shifted, because your heart has finally found stability. This kind of fulfillment requires patience and awareness. It does not come instantly. It comes when you stop chasing every fleeting thrill, when you let go of the expectation that life should constantly excite you, and when you allow yourself to be present in each moment. It comes when the heart realizes that intensity is not the measure of value, and that lasting joy is not loud, it is quiet, gentle, and constant. When your heart experiences this calm, you notice a new kind of freedom. You are no longer bound to what is temporary. You do not need external validation to feel complete. You no longer fear losing what the world gives because you are anchored in something deeper. Life does not stop being beautiful when you stop seeking excitement. Instead, it becomes more meaningful because you are finally able to feel it fully, with clarity and presence. True fulfillment is also deeply protective. When the heart relies on thrill for happiness, it becomes fragile, always chasing, always restless, always vulnerable. Calm fulfillment strengthens the soul. It teaches you to stand firm in uncertainty, to remain grounded in disappointment, and to find contentment even in simplicity. This calm is not boring, it is liberating. It allows you to live fully without being controlled by every emotion, every circumstance, or every passing moment. In the quiet of calm fulfillment, you begin to understand life differently. You see that happiness was never meant to be a roller coaster of highs and lows. It was meant to be a steady flow, a deep river that nourishes your heart, your soul, and your mind. When the world seems chaotic, when nothing excites you the way it used to, remember that this is not emptiness. It is an invitation to find the true joy that is calm, enduring, and unshakable. And once your heart finds this calm, it will never seek validation from what is fleeting, because it has discovered a joy that is eternal within itself. This phase is spiritual growth, not decline. There comes a time in life when everything feels quiet, when nothing excites you the way it used to, when even the things that once brought you joy feel distant or hollow. At first, this can feel frightening. You may think you are losing your passion for life, that you are slipping into emptiness, that you are fading away. But in reality, this phase is not a sign of decline, it is a sign of growth. The soul is maturing, the heart is refining, and the mind is learning to see beyond the surface of life. When nothing excites you anymore, it often means you are no longer easily controlled by the world. You are slower to attach, harder to impress, and less swayed by the noise and drama around you. You no longer seek validation from others, nor do you measure your worth by fleeting achievements. This is not apathy, this is strength. It is the sign of a heart that has begun to understand what truly matters, and a soul that has started to awaken to its higher purpose. This phase is a sacred process. The emptiness you feel is not absence, it is preparation. It is a quiet clearing of the soul, a time when old attachments fall away, when shallow pleasures lose their appeal, and when you begin to recognize the deeper truths of life. The things that once defined you no longer hold power over your heart. Your desires, your fears, your ambitions, they are all being gently rearranged, refined, and redirected. This is a spiritual cleansing, a preparation for a life that is more meaningful, more peaceful, and more fulfilling than you have ever experienced. It is natural to feel uneasy during this time. The heart may feel restless, the mind may feel anxious, and the body may crave stimulation. You may question your choices, your path, or even your purpose. But these feelings are not warnings, they are invitations. They are invitations to turn inward, to reflect, to connect with the one who never leaves, and to align your life with what is eternal rather than temporary. This is the moment where patience, awareness, and trust become your greatest allies. In this quiet phase, the heart learns to find joy in subtler, deeper ways. You begin to appreciate life for what it is, not for what it can give you superficially. Simple moments gain profound meaning. A sincere conversation, a moment of stillness, a breath of fresh air, the feeling of gratitude for what you already have. The heart learns to rest in peace even when the world is unpredictable, and to feel complete even when circumstances seem imperfect. Spiritual growth often requires letting go of old patterns, attachments, and expectations. What once excited you may no longer matter, and that is part of the process. The world may seem less thrilling, but your heart is learning to anchor itself in what truly sustains. You are no longer chasing fleeting highs, because your soul has begun to understand that lasting joy comes from depth, presence, and alignment with your Creator. This phase teaches resilience, clarity, and perspective. It strengthens the heart in ways that excitement never could. You learn to trust the timing of your life, to accept that not everything will come when you want it, and to find peace in the journey rather than in temporary outcomes. The calm, the emptiness, and even the subtle numbness are all shaping you into a heart that can love deeply without being dependent, that can give without losing itself, and that can experience joy that nothing and no one can take away. Eventually, you begin to notice that this quiet, reflective, and seemingly empty period was never empty at all. It was full of preparation, learning, and unseen growth. Your heart is stronger, your mind is clearer, and your soul is awakened to the depth of life that once passed unnoticed. This is not decline, this is transformation, this is spiritual maturity. And when you finally recognize it, you understand that life's true beauty has never been in the excitement, the drama, or the highs, but in the depth, the calm, and the connection that endures forever. Before we end, I want you to take a deep breath and really feel this moment. Think about everything we've explored together: the emptiness, the numbness, the fading excitement, the quiet heart, the lessons your soul has been trying to teach you. All of it was never against you. It was for you. Every moment of discomfort, every second of restlessness, every feeling that made you question your life, it was a message, a guide, a hand leading you toward what truly matters. Your heart has been tested, but it is not broken. Your soul has been stretched, but it is not lost. What feels empty now is space being made for something far greater, something lasting, something eternal. You may not feel it fully yet, but trust this process. The quiet, the calm, the stillness, these are not the end of life's color. They are the beginning of a new way of seeing, feeling, and living. From this moment forward, you have a choice. You can continue seeking happiness in the temporary, the loud, the fleeting, or you can begin to nurture your soul, anchor your heart, and embrace the depth, the peace, and the fulfillment that the world cannot take away. The emptiness you once feared can become your greatest gift, your guide, your awakening. Remember, your heart is alive, your soul is awake, and the journey does not end here. Life may never excite you the way it once did, but it will satisfy you in ways you have never imagined. The joy that comes from presence, from reflection, from closeness to Allah, that joy is steady, unshakable, and yours to claim. So take this lesson with you. Let it settle deep into your heart. Carry it into your days, into your choices, into the way you see yourself and the world. And know this: every moment of emptiness, every fading thrill, every quiet pause is preparing you for a life richer than you have ever dreamed. Your heart is not lost. It is waking up, and from now on, you will never look at life the same way again.